The Hidden Secret to Fixing Back Pain, Part 7. Hey everybody, this is Mike Erlob with another episode of Power Your Life. And I got to tell you, it is great to be talking with you today. And before we get started talking about the psoas, I wanted to talk about a quote that I recently came across. And I'd sent an email out a little while ago about this, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit more because it really resonated with me. I came across a recent quote from Warren Buffett that just said, "Busy is the new stupid." And, it was Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, and I think they were on the Charlie Rose show, and I'm not sure if Warren Buffett said it or Bill Gates, but one of them, they just said that busy is the new stupid. And I got to tell you, it really struck a chord with me. You see, because at that time that I ran across that quote, I was listening to a new podcast that was called Fight, Hustle, and End Hurry podcast. And it was put together by a couple of guys, John Mark Comer and Jeff Bethke. And, the quote seemed to really fit with what I was listening to. You see, most of us think that in our lives that we think that the busier we are, the more productive we are, the more we will accomplish. And when we think that, the more that we do like that, the happier we're going to be. Think about it. So when you come across somebody that you haven't seen in a while, somebody that, you just run across in the grocery store, or you see them maybe at church, or you see them on the street, and you say, you just say, "Hey, how have you been? It's great to see you." The response that I hear a lot of times is, they say, "Great. You know how it is, busy all the time." And, it seems like the more we talk about how busy we are, it's almost like a badge of honor. It's almost like, wow, if I can make myself really super busy, if I can make myself look like I'm the busiest out there, it's going to really mean that, I get a lot done, and, it almost like others start to envy me or something. I don't know. I mean, it just seems in our society, we are just trying to pack as much in as we can into every little second of every little minute of every little hour of every day. It's just like you look at your schedules, and it's just like we cram everything in there that we can. You see, and the next thing we know is that we've crammed our schedules so full that it is just impossible to get to all of it. And then what this means is that we end up just running all over the place, kind of like, the old saying, chickens like our heads cut off, right? I mean, we're just running here, running there, and all we're doing is crossing off our to-do list, and we've got a to-do list. If your to-do list is like mine used to, and I've been working really hard at getting this in control, that's why I'm talking about it. But if your to-do list is like mine, it is so long, and it is like, you look at it and you're like, really? There is no way in God's green earth, not even Superman could get all this done. But yet we do that to ourselves. We set ourselves up for failure because we try to make ourselves so busy. We try and do so much. We can't get to it all, and then you kind of start that self-talk, well, I didn't get everything done today. Oh, I must be a failure. I mean, it starts a lot of that thought through our head. And, that becomes so incredibly negative. We are so incredibly busy that we just don't actually have the time to slow down and think and focus on the things in life that really do matter. I believe, and this is what I do believe, and this is coming from the podcast too. From the Fight, Hustle, and End Hurry podcast. This was their the take-home message, is that being busy is inconsistent with having a life that is filled with love, joy, and peace. And that take-home message really resonated with me. And when you think about it, there's a lot of truth to that. A life filled with love, joy, and peace, I think, is something that most of us are really looking for. It's not about how much you're accomplishing, but how are you spending your time and the quality of life that you're living. When you're too busy with meetings, phone calls, soccer games, or wherever it is that you're going, what happens is you start losing that ability to really care for others, to be patient, to be kind, to be loving, and to be sincere. And, let's think about it. And this was, John Mark talked about this in his podcast. Think about times where you have been really, really busy, right? How did that affect how you treated others? I bet you probably weren't at your best at that time in how you treated others. We see it all the time. You see it on the road. You see it with people having road rage, where they're just trying to get somewhere as fast as they can, and they're in a hurry, and maybe they're late, and they just cut people off, and they just don't even think about other people. Or think about the time where maybe you were trying to get your family to an appointment, and you've got a couple of kids and they're kind of just doing their own thing, and maybe your wife isn't really getting herself ready in a timely manner. How did you speak to them? What was your tone of voice? Was it loving and kind, or did you start getting a little frustrated, a little angry, a little irritated, and did that come out and show up in the way that you talk to them? I bet you it's more the latter. You see, what this does is when we're busy like that, it leads you to becoming so focused on what you're doing at that time that you start focusing only on yourself and not around of the other people around you. You see, this leads us to being inconsiderate and selfish. And then what happens is you start viewing other people as a distraction or a roadblock that needs to be removed instead of taking the time to actually grow your relationship with them. And I really think this is a real problem today in our society with many of us. But the good news is that it can change. It is up to each one of us to create time and margin in our lives. You see, if you want more joy, love, and peace in your life, start by slowing down. End the hurry and the hustle in your life and focus on serving and caring for those around you. And as we talked about before, since your psoas is linked to your emotions, the more balanced you can make your life, the less stress there is. And this will definitely help the psoas and hip flexors stay relaxed and loose. So with that being said, knowing that you have tight hip flexors is one thing, but how do you fix them? That's a big question. You might say to me, well, Mike, they're tight. Yeah, I'll just stretch them out. I'll jump on YouTube and I'll download a couple of exercises and I'll be good to go. Well, the problem with that is that most of your stretches are what we call static stretching, okay? Static stretching is what we were taught how to do in PE class. You bend over and you touch your toes. You sit and do the butterfly stretch. Those things, it's where you stretch a muscle to its length to where you feel a good stretch, and then you just hold it there. Now, the problem is that rarely works. You see, if the problem was strictly that the psoas was a little tight, then that would work. But as we talked about before, the problem is so much deeper than that. You see, the problem with the psoas is that the nervous system has activated it, and the psoas is actually hyperactive. So it's like in this spasmed state. Remember, this is a fight or flight muscle. So your body has kicked your psoas into overdrive. I want you to do something for me, okay? I want to demonstrate this to you. I want you to take your hand, okay? And I want you to make a fist, just like I'm doing. And then what I want you to do is I want you to squeeze as hard as you can, okay? Now keep squeezing, okay? Keep holding it tight. Now keep doing that. Like, I'm going to keep talking, but keep squeezing it tight. We're going to hold that for the next, maybe 10 seconds or so. Keep squeezing. You can feel your fingers kind of digging into your palm a little bit. You can kind of feel those knuckles a little bit. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to look at your knuckles, okay? What do you see? All right? Go ahead and let up. All right? What did you see when you looked at your knuckles? Did you see how white they were? All right? That's because when you were squeezing the fist tight, the blood flow to that surface of the knuckles, that was being reduced. How did it feel? I don't know about you, but my hand's kind of a little sore. I kind of got some finger marks in my palm. It doesn't feel very good, right? That is exactly what your psoas feels, okay? It is like a fist that is all tightened up. There is decreased blood flow going on there, all right? So the first thing that you have to do, with your fist tight like that, can you really stretch it? Not really. And why? Well, because when your fist is tight like that, my brain's telling my fist to stay tight, right? Guess what your brain's telling your psoas to do? Guess what the psoas is telling the brain? psoas is telling the brain that it's in danger, okay, because of the way we're sitting. And I know that sounds like, well, Mike, we're not, this isn't dangerous. Doesn't hurt anything. The position of the psoas makes it think that, because it is a protective muscle that either balls you up or forces you into kind of a kicking and running action. It sends that message to the brain that there's danger. Your brain interprets that. It doesn't know anything different, and it starts activating the psoas, okay? So the first thing you've got to do is you've got to get the psoas to shut off first. Static stretching will not do this. These can only be done by using your body's own nervous system to shut down the psoas activity. Now, this is done with what I call the three-dimensional method. And the three-dimensional method is a method that we use here at Flex Physical Therapy that has a very unique approach. It rapidly reshapes and rejuvenates the spine by normalizing the activity of the psoas, and at the same time fortifying the muscles of the glutes, of the back, and also of the core. So it uses these unique movements and special release techniques along with strengthening exercises put together in the right proper sequence that actually works with your body to start activating the healing process. So what we're occurring here is that three-dimensional method is shutting down the hyperactive psoas. It's activating the glutes and the lower abdominals while it's balancing the nervous and musculoskeletal systems. Now what this does is this reduces inflammation in three ways. It reduces it mechanically, chemically, and neurologically. Okay? Can static stretching do that? No, it can't. It stops pain, the three-dimensional method stops pain by normalizing the tight and dysfunctional muscles and then resetting the nerve impulses. So, right now, we are offering a breakthrough exam for only $27 so you can see if the three-dimensional method can help you. All you have to do is go to the website flex-pt.com/1-2, that's the number 1-2, /Mike-at-flex/. All right, we will put that in the post that in the comments. Okay, all you have to do is go to that website to book your breakthrough session. Okay, again, that website is flex-pt.com/ the number 1-2 1-2 /Mike-at-flex/. For the podcast, we will also put this in the notes, and it's on our website. But all you do is got to go there, and you can book your breakthrough session for only $27. So you can find out if this three-dimensional method is going to work for you. You can find out what's going on with your psoas, how that's affecting your back pain, and what you can do to fix that problem right now. So I'd like to leave you with this thought, and this is from a author and pastor, A.W. Tozer, and he said, "Refuse to be average. Let your soul soar as high as it will." Until next time, power your life and keep moving forward.